guys, welcome to another episode of the Film Pundits. We are back again to give you guys the latest news in Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and all that business.
Everything else.
My name is Adam Hlavik, and I'm joined here as always by Mr. Hector Navarro.
Hello.
And Mr. Augustine Rios.
This guy. What's up, buddy?
Good to see you guys.
Hey.
Good to see you guys too. I miss you guys. I love these.
This is the best part.
Adventures
This is the best part of my week.
Is it?
Yeah, real sad.
Really? Wow.
It's real sad.
I'm just kidding.
Why is
this is awesome.
Yeah, this is great.
This is great.
Yeah, it hurts my feelings.
It's okay, Adam.
So, well, let's get into some news because we got some good news.
Cool.
Good news to cover.
Good news.
The first thing, Ben Affleck was again interviewed about Batman and playing Batman and channeling his inner rage to play Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things that he said was, I think it's a necessity historically in the tradition of these films. For me, anger is so deeply buried and contained that when it does kind of come out, it comes out in stronger bursts. I tend to be respectful, polite, get along, put up with. Then, when it finally emerges, it's not something I have a ton of control over. He goes into more details about some of the traits he brings to Batman, saying,
Like what? Yeah.
"That's my personality, by the way. That's a character flaw, I think. I should sit down and say, listen, I just want to let you know what happened there wasn't okay, instead of going, let it go, let it go, let it go. It's not a big deal until finally you just pop."
Cool. Dude sounds like he's got some problems.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
But
This is
it's-
more unsettling than anything. It's
But
like,
it sounds like he's going to be a great Batman. No, it's like, as long as we get a good performance, right? No, the guy looks like it sounds like he's mentally, like, unstable.
it
No,
sounds like he needs to go to counseling.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is, he has battled a lot of demons. He's had a lot of personal things happen.
True.
But in one sense of the word, or just in one general sense, I think it will definitely kind of help portray the character because the
Listen,
character is very tormented and tortured.
Robert Downey
He is.
Jr., as charming and as funny as he is, like some of the best stuff in his performance as Tony Stark was that real serious, and he was absolutely drawing from his background, from his history with addiction and all, you know what I mean? And like Tony Stark being so flawed and messed up and wanting redemption and all this stuff that was just like perfect for Robert Downey. So sure, I hope Affleck's, I'm sure he's fine. Are you kidding me? Come on, he's Ben Affleck. I'm sure he's fine.
Of course he's fine.
This is really not that troubling. It's just kind of like, oh, cool, you've got like a temper and you like bury stuff.
Right.
When, I can understand being in Hollywood or the type of job that he has, always having to be a yes man and a yes man.
Right.
It's really, he just wants to tell people like, no, I don't want to do that, or no,
Right.
I don't think that's a good idea. So, I don't know, if he's channeling it into his performance, it's,
I think it's a huge asset to have when you're playing a character like Batman because you need to really draw that rage and that anger and those types of attributes from something. And if you're a really happy, peppy person, you can fake it.
I know,
but it feels so much more real when you have those types of flaws. And
it's phony.
yeah, and nobody's perfect. Everyone has flaws.
Sure.
So
Right.
I think to pull from those dark places of your own self and bring those things forward.
I think you guys are right. I think you convinced me. Like, you kind of have to if you're a good actor.
Right.
Even Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, he pulls from his sort of youth of being picked on and being bullied and stuff.
Right.
Like, that's all in there. That's all there.
I'm hoping,
know?
I'm kind of torn in between the two. I'm hoping that it's not too angry of a Batman.
Sure.
Yeah,
but that also kind of depends on the script and stuff. But no, you're right for sure.
But
for sure.
if Ben Affleck's coming at you at every scene, like
yeah.
I know Frank
It's a little
Miller's.
too
I know
heavy.
Frank Miller's Batman is like that angry sort of like he's always a fist clenched.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
Neck things bubbling. I
know.
know that Batman is sort of angry and tormented, but I'm hoping it's not too over the top.
Sure.
But at the same time, Batman needs that.
Right.
You know?
I know.
He's only human. He's gonna have human flaws. The reason he's my favorite is because he's completely relatable.
Right.
And hopefully that anger doesn't
so
take
funny
him out of that.
As I was just thinking, I feel like Batman, Bruce Wayne, is so unrelatable
Bruce Wayne is, yes.
that you have to, like Affleck is doing, you have to draw from your own personal life experience. You have to
Right.
make a personal connection to be able to play a character who is so mythic and who's such just sort of like an iconic character, because
Right.
I feel like he's kind of unrelatable, like as opposed to other film characters, because he's so iconic and he's so classic. Like playing Superman is hard because he's unrelatable, just of everything. So it's funny that you say that Batman's like relatable, and I'm like, I think he's unrelatable, but I like what Affleck's like. You have to pull that personal thing from somewhere.
That's why, because we've all felt those, those feelings of anger at one point or another. We've all had stuff happen to us. And
every time I do one of these episodes, like you guys say stuff to me, and I just
you rage.
Why do you think I have such a bitch face all the time? The anger has to come from somewhere.
Just let it go,
Hector.
Just let it go.
We're just gonna get punched in the face.
It's fine. Just let it go. No, I'm gonna go play Batman later.
Batman.
See, just let it go. They're making fun of you, Hector. It's fine. Just
knock him over.
Let it go. No, just let it go.
Well, and I think one of the I think another big thing is like Andrew Garfield, like you were saying. He pulls from a lot of his experiences, and his favorite comic book character, at least from he claims, is Spider-Man.
For sure.
And Ben Affleck, it's the same thing. His favorite comic book character is Batman. I mean, he had a Batcave in his house. So I think they connect with the character, they love the character, they know what it takes to be the character because they have related to him in some sense, or they have a deep appreciation for him. So I think that's really key to them really being able to pull off the role.
That's my thing. I hope he connects his personal experiences and meshes them well with whatever Batman.
Who do you guys think is Ryan Reynolds' favorite superhero? Deadpool or Green Lantern? Honestly, who do you think?
Probably Green Lantern.
Are you serious?
Duh. No, I'm not serious. Come on.
All right, let it go, Hector. Let it go. He was messing with you, being sarcastic.
He's going crazy again.
Yes.
No, I agree. See, and you can tell. You can tell. All right, fine. All right.
So the next bit of news, we finally got the official synopsis for Avengers Age of Ultron.
This is great.
This is a mouthful, so I'm gonna read just the main synopsis because the rest of it kind of goes on to just list who's in the movie, and we already know who's in it. Sure. Marvel Studios presents Avengers Age of Ultron, the epic follow-up to the biggest superhero movie of all time. When Tony Stark tries to jumpstart a dormant peacekeeping program, things go awry, and Earth's mightiest heroes, including Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, the Incredible Hulk, Black Widow, and Hawkeye, are put to the ultimate test as the state of the planet hangs in the balance. As the villainous Ultron emerges, it is up to the Avengers to stop him from enacting his terrible plans. And soon, uneasy alliances and unexpected action pave the way for an epic and unique global adventure.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Marvel's Avengers Age of Ultron stars Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner, Samuel Jackson, Kobe Smulders, James Spader, Elizabeth Olsen, Aaron Taylor Johnson,
read that last
and
sentence,
meet an old friend in a new form when Paul Bettany becomes Vision.
Vision. That's awesome.
So some of the real main things to take away from this is the part where they say Tony Stark tries to jumpstart a dormant peacekeeping program, which to me, there was a lot of people saying that, they're going to change the origin of Ultron. He's not going to be created by Hank Pym. He's going to be a creation of Tony Stark. With this, though, it makes it sound like at some point in the past, Hank Pym created some early version of Ultron, and now Tony Stark has brought that thing back from the past, and now, I don't know, a 2.0 version of Ultron.
Jump-started it.
What do you
like
think about that?
It's like, you know what I mean? It's like who's really at fault in the Terminator world? Like
exactly.
The first guy who was Miles Dyson.
Miles
'cause he
Dyson.
did the initial Skynet thing, right? And
with
instead of somebody who developed a Terminator later. So that's a kind of an interesting.
So what do you, Hector? What do you take away from this in terms of the creation of Ultron and how it could potentially connect into Ant-Man now?
I think it's awesome. I think that fans very smartly read into that, and I think that Marvel, having cast, and they started already shooting Ant-Man, they cast Hank Pym, they cast all the other characters in Ant-Man, and even in Ant-Man, they announced that Howard Stark, right, Iron Man's father, was going to be in the movie. He was not going to be played by Dominic Cooper, though, from the first Captain America movie. Instead, he was going to be played by John Slattery, who played him in Iron Man 2, in around that same time frame, the 70s or 80s. And so when they announced that, people were already speculating, like, oh, sweet, Hank Pym, back in the day, a younger Michael Douglas, back in the day, was collaborating with Stark, Papa Stark, and made the Ultron thing or some other stuff. And then we cut to the future, and then there's sort of the Ant-Man story. But I think that, honestly, because of this, we could see a Michael Douglas, Hank Pym cameo. We could see his face up on a thing when we could see him come in and talk about it. We could see a flashback scene. There's so many things that Marvel can do because they have all these elements in play. And I think people were smart to be like, cool, this doesn't completely rule out the fact that Hank Pym can still be considered guilty of creating Ultron, which the reason fans were bummed because they were like, that's the most interesting thing about this guy is that he messed up royally when he created Ultron and all of the Avengers comics, and for the rest of his career as a superhero, as a scientist, as a husband, whatever, Ultron just kept coming back just kept coming back and he just regretted it more than anything, and that was interesting for his character.
Right.
So for them to kind of cut that, people were like, "Oh, that's a bummer." But it's like you could
sounds
still
like it's back in there.
They
it could still do it, man.
And that's why I'm not worried about this, and that's why I didn't do that, because Marvel is great at continuity. If we've seen anything,
so good.
they're already thinking 10 steps ahead of
my
where
God.
we're already at, of
So
where we're
good.
talking about right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So most likely they already have it set in plan where Hank Pym helped with Tony Stark's dad to, create this program back in the day. It didn't come to fruition until Tony Stark got his hands on it with Jarvis and Ultron.
It was
and all
like
that stuff.
Howard Stark said in Iron Man 2. He's like, "I'm limited by the technology of my time, Tony.
Exactly.
You are the key to the future."
They
you
didn't
know,
have the
same
technology to
thing.
make
They just
Ultron
built a
a
Pong
reality.
machine, and they're like, "This is all we could do. This is the best we could do is make Pong.
Run with it, Tony.
Run with it,
Ultron
Tony."
comes
Then,
up.
it just makes it Ultron.
And here's what else what I'm excited about this Ultron thing. Ultron is one of the only villains besides Apocalypse that makes me anxious.
Nice.
Because
He like
he's
scares
so,
you.
Yeah,
He's
because
pretty
he's
terrifying,
so
dude.
powerful.
He's very
so
powerful.
terrifying. It's just there's not a lot you can do to stop him.
Yeah, he's kind of
And
unkillable. Even
exactly.
every single time they've killed him in the comic books.
They haven't killed him.
He's just like, "No, I'll come back.
Yeah,
I'm artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Like I'm a machine.
He's gonna come back.
I'm gonna come back."
I think
matter
another
what.
like key thing to take away from this is by them saying that and the fact that Age of Ultron comes out 2 months before Ant-Man, it's very possible that they can have Michael Douglas cameo because it'll be our first look at Hank Pym,
Yep.
and
To set
then
up
the
to-
story could expand in the Ant-Man movie.
To convince people, hey, go see Ant-Man. If you loved Avengers Age of Ultron, the biggest movie, I'm sure, of all time when it
Right.
comes out, like it's going to be massive.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, go see Ant-Man for a smaller, self-contained story, the
Right.
continuing adventures of Michael Douglas in the present day. What's he up
Exactly.
to? Oh, you know what he's up to? Paul Rudd just stole his suit. Shenanigans. Oh, let's see it.
It's a really good way to set up that movie,
Yeah.
and they could. It'd be cool if he was integrated into the movie itself, but they could even do it just a post-credit scene.
They'll probably do a post, and Ultron is going to create such a buzz that everybody's going to go see Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking too that the whole thing with them finding a new director for Ant-Man and saying, "Hey, sorry, Edgar Wright, it's not working out." I feel like now they're doing this to put it in the timetable of we need this to come out 2 months after Avengers. This is following the trail of it. It doesn't
critical.
matter. It's critical. Now that we've made certain changes, whatever. Listen, Edgar, if you don't want to direct this movie, we cannot negotiate for another month or two. We can't change it to, like, we have to go. Because
go
we need
time.
these actors cast. It's go time. We need them to show up at Comic-Con even before they start filming and talk about the movie. And then we need to start filming, and then we need to throw in some stuff to put into the Avengers movie, which comes out next May.
Yep.
You know, now I think that's the whole. It's brilliant.
I'm telling you, continuity, dude. Continuity.
Yeah.
Marvel's got it. I'm not
And
worried
that,
about this
that,
movie.
that to just kind of like round out that point, that could be part of the reason why they end up parting ways, because the vision of Ant-Man could have changed, and now they wanted to fully integrate him into the cinematic universe.
Exactly.
So,
Maybe that's why he left. He didn't like the way it integrated with the movie.
Right.
Well, I was just speculating.
The other thing to
Whatever.
pick up on that thing was that they say like uneasy alliances, and I feel like they're talking about the characters Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, which are going to start as bad guys at the beginning of Avengers 2, and by the end they're going to be Avengers, just like in the comic books. Those two characters, like
Right.
terrorists or mutant villains or whatever. And then the other thing too is that they say Paul Bettany becomes Vision.
Yep.
Which is awesome.
Visions.
Yeah.
are
So
cool.
to me, that's another. I think since Tony Stark kind of is the one who kind of helps to create this evil Ultron, he now tries to maybe fix the problem.
That might be it. You
with
know
the
what would be cool
solution
too?
of
You know what
Vision.
would be really cool is in the comic books, Ultron is created first by Hank Pym,
Right.
and then Ultron himself creates
Creates
offspring,
Vision.
creates the Vision.
Yes.
And it's basically like this bad guy robot who
Right.
sends to go and attack. And it was a great episode of that cartoon show. Awesome episode, right?
that's- yeah,
That's what most
that's
people
what's that's what I'm
goes
thinking in my
sends him
head.
to attack the Avengers, and he does. But then like because he has like a good soul, he like turns and becomes an Avenger. Like that would be interesting too. If you know what I
That's
mean.
very possible that that's the route they'll go.
I'm really, really hoping they go that
That
route
would be
because
cool.
that was really exciting in what is
Yeah.
it? Avengers Earth's
Earth's
Mightiest
Mightiest
Heroes.
Heroes. If Ultron,
Watch that, by the way. It's a really good cartoon.
fantastic. Is
Yeah.
it on Netflix still?
It's on.
It is.
I think it's on still on Netflix.
Okay, good.
Fantastic.
Both seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great if James Spader's Ultron jacks into Tony Stark stuff and takes the Jarvis program
because he
He's
sees
like,
how intelligent
yeah,
it is.
he's like, oh,
Right.
you're terrible for keeping Jarvis enslaved, and creates a robot body form.
Yeah.
And Paul Bettany shows up, and he's like, actually, I'm a good guy, and it's like that would be awesome.
with that accent.
I'm actually good now.
No.
Sorry, sir.
Or
I'm
it could
good.
be cool if he started out bad, and then Tony
Sure.
has to kind of influence him, be like Jarvis,
That'd be
like
great.
you've been my trusted assistant for all
Right.
these
Yes.
years, yada yada yada.
And that's another great thing that I love about the comic books and the character of Hank Pym is that he's always down on himself for creating Ultron.
Yeah.
But everyone always reminds him, like, dude, Ultron created Vision, who
Right.
became one of your teammates and best friends and like a
Right.
hero, and he saved countless lives. And so it's
Right.
like, it's like
Yeah.
It's a little bit of
it's
this, a little bit of that.
It's really, really cool. Vision ends up marrying Scarlet Witch later, has a pretend baby. It gets crazy. It's gonna be awesome.
We're gonna move into some TV news now.
Cool.
We got some casting news. Scott Glenn He's a very well-known actor. He's been
yeah.
making movies for
Great
years and years,
character actor,
decades.
absolutely.
Great character actor. He's joining Daredevil as Stick, Matt Murdock's mentor.
Awesome.
Augie, what do you think about that?
I think it's a great casting choice. We'll have to see. I still am really excited to see the show.
Yeah.
Since I'm going to be reviewing the show,
Yeah.
I guess I have just the most questions. I mean, just about how it's going to be played. So I don't really have an opinion yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing it.
You know what, man? I'm gonna recommend you some Daredevil comics to read before that show comes out. I think it comes out next year.
Yeah.
That it's the show's supposed to be based on Daredevil Born Again. You got to reread that before. I'm gonna reread it before the show comes out, and I think that Stick is heavily in that. I think so. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember if it's whatever. Anyway, but Stick's awesome. It's gonna be great.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, we'll see.
And the other bit of cast news, Amanda Pays, who previously played Dr. Tina McGee in the 1990-1991 show The Flash, is coming back to the new Flash series as the same character.
That's cool.
That's going to be pretty interesting. I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's really cool to bring back an actor from a previous incarnation to play the same character, even though it's a completely different story, obviously. Obviously, she's not Barry Allen's love interest this time around. Right. And one of the key things that it says in the description is she's playing Dr. Tina McGee, but she's not working for Star Labs. She works for a rival company. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of what her role is going to be in this show.
I think it's great. I think it's great fan service. I think there's a lot of fans of the old show.
Yeah, we already have John Wesley Shipp in there as Barry Allen's dad.
It reminds me of remember in Smallville when they brought in Christopher Reeve right before he passed away,
Margot Kidder.
to play Margot Kidder was in the show. I love that, and it does kind of take you out of it because you're like, oh, it's an actor from Superman from the past, but it's about the mythology. It's a nice tribute. Do you know what I mean?
I agree. I think that's what they did this for, just for the fans.
Yeah.
It's that they made this casting choice so other fans can migrate from their fandom from that old show to this new show.
Yeah.
I think they did a good service by casting her. So
awesome.
For sure.
I'm gonna watch it.
All right.
So we're gonna run through some honorable mentions. These are basically other news topics that have come out throughout the week that we just don't have enough time to fully cover.
Cool.
I'm gonna run through 4 of them.
Count them down. 4.
Fox commits to a put pilot of the DC comic character Lucifer, who's a spin-off character from the Sandman.
And I read, just real quick, I read a really funny tweet where somebody tweeted at Jeff Johns after he announced that, and someone was like, they should just call television DC now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what, their 6th or 7th show that they're doing?
Exactly.
Next.
3.
Batman the television series debuts a brand new trailer for the upcoming Blu-ray, which hits on November 11th. So we'll put a link in the description where you can watch that.
Can you also put some pals?
Some pals and kapows.
2.
Nick Tarabay has been cast as Captain Boomerang on Arrow.
As long as he's got an Australian accent, I'm fine.
1.
James Darcy is set to play Edwin Jarvis in Marvel's Agent Carter.
I love this because, again, you were saying earlier, we never know if we're going to see this and this and this and this in Marvel. I have loved the Marvel Cinematic Universe since Iron Man came out. And the one thing that I've always been a little bummed at is that we'll never get to see a human butler named Edwin Jarvis, right? Who's the part of Iron Man's mythology. He's just basically just his Alfred. And I'm like, that's fine. We got the Paul Bettany artificial intelligence. We got it's great. And now we're getting Edwin Jarvis, the real guy back in the day in Agent Carter.
Exactly. And now we'll get to see where Jarvis, the computer, the AI comes from.
Exactly.
And what the influence of that was.
And then you'll go back and watch Iron Man and be like, oh, it's Jarvis.
That's a tribute to his dad's butler from back in the day.
Yeah.
This franchise gives me everything I want. Everything I could ever want. They give it to me. It's the best.
Put your robo boner
Even
down.
the things like, Mandarin? No, they're gonna give it to me, dude. Are you kidding me? You can't complain about anything.
The Robo Boner is strong with this one.
Yeah, we better
So
cut
happy.
it off. So,
All right.
And on that note, we're gonna end off our show. But before we go, you guys can follow us on social media, youtube.com/thefilmpundits. You guys can subscribe below right beneath the like button. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all under The Film Pundits. And follow these guys on Twitter and Instagram. Where can they find you, Hector?
You guys can find me at Marvel Boner. No, I'm kidding. It's at
Robo Boner.
Robo Boner? It's Marvel Robo Boner. It's Marvel Boner is what it is. That's what I love. Hector is funny is my Twitter handle. That's what's up. Augie.
Zombie Guts 15.
And you can find me just under Adam Hlavik. Thanks so much for joining us, guys, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
And Robo Boners.